I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I'm actually really glad it's an international break. I actually hate them, to be honest. Usually, I can't stand the things, but the way this season's going, do you know what I mean? It's like a bloody relief, isn't it? Like, I think, oh God, 2 weeks we ain't got to play watch West Ham. Thank God for that. Like, do you know what I mean? It's been that bad this season, and it just didn't get any better, did it? Against Everton, it left more questions and answers in surrounding where we're going this season. And under Lopetegui, it just feels like just heading towards the inevitable with him. Nothing's improving, and the more I think about it as well, the evidence is quite clear that the players aren't behind the guy, that there's clearly an issue in terms of what he's trying to do at the club, what he's trying to create here, because I can't understand it. I don't really think anyone can. We're all just scratching our heads wondering what this is all about. We're talking 6 months his time at the club now. And I know someone once sort of pulled me up on this on Twitter saying, oh, well, no, actually it's 4 months. But yeah, I understand that that's officially when he started. He started the 1st of July, but actually he was appointed in May. And bearing in mind, this is the same guy that sort of profoundly said, I've been watching West Ham for the last season. I've been studying and waiting for this move. This was his dream move. So he's had a fair amount of time. Then he's had the backing in the summer with his money in terms of spending on new players. Look, I understand Tim Stuyton's a key part of that. Look, I really do understand it's not all Lopetegui on that front. But he's been backed. You can't say that he hasn't been backed. He's been seriously backed, this guy. And we're just not seeing any evidence of it. I mean, there's no European football. So you've got no excuse in terms of, look, games are coming thick and fast. We're travelling around. It's very, very tough. He hasn't had any excuse for that. We had a whole week to prepare for Everton. And that is what we got, against a team that are, no disrespect to Everton, but really struggling because they were awful against us, Everton. And we were bad. Sometimes I was watching that game and thinking, Christ, it's like watching League Two football. It was so poor and it was just not good enough. And it brings me to this video. I really do want to try and get off the topic at the moment. It's hard not to because of what's going on. And this is the big talking point is Lopetegui in his future. Now, we've got an update from ex-WHU employee on the situation. We've also got a couple of other stories running on it. So I kind of want to go with those at the moment. Let's talk about the first one. It actually comes from Football Insider. And they've done an interview with Mick Brown. Mick Brown's quite outspoken, actually, on this. He's been talking quite a fair bit on the Lopetegui situation. He's a former West Ham scout. And he worked alongside David Moyes. Now, this is what he had to say on the situation, which is quite, it's not shocking. Nothing's shocking at West Ham, is it? Let's be honest. But he says the situation at West Ham at the moment is very volatile. He could lose his job and be sacked immediately at any time because things can change at West Ham at a click of a finger. I'm not sure how good the relationship is between the manager, sporting director, and the owner is at the moment. But at the start of the season, I know it wasn't good. Which is not good to read, is it? Right at the start of the season, it wasn't good. Or if it wasn't good then I dread to think what it's like now. Do you know what I mean? They bought a lot of players for him, and not many of them have turned up yet. This is now putting more pressure on him because they've spent big money and they wanted to see a good return this season. When he was appointed to take over from Moyes, they expected him to pick up where he left off and keep moving the club forward. Ultimately, though, the results have not been good enough. They were lucky to win against Man United, and you could argue that against Crystal Palace too. What I've heard, they were keen to give him first, but they're giving him a chance first, but that faith is now fading very quickly. I mean, it's no surprise. I mean, this is what we're all seeing. Do you know what I mean? It's just how many more games do we have to keep giving this guy? How much more time do we have to give this guy? Because I do understand some people from the outside looking in, maybe saying, well, hang on a minute. Look, it's early days, only a few months into the job. Calm it down a little bit. But as I've said, it isn't just like that. It's not as if we've appointed Lopetegui, plucked him from another club, thrown him into his job during a mid-season. He's going, look, you have to just give me a bit of time. I don't even know these players yet. I've got to try and work this all out. Then you might have a bit more sympathy. This guy's had enough preparation. As I've just said, he's been looking at West Ham for the last year. It's absolutely shocking. I'm so disappointed in the guy. I really am. I feel like we've really made a massive cock up as a football club. I think this falls directly on David Sullivan for his penny pinching. Again, when it comes to appointing managers, I will never understand that guy's philosophy in terms of a lot of things, really. But I mean, when it comes to manager hiring in particular, I don't understand this bizarre logic of they must be out of work. Why have they got to be out of work? Oh, because I don't want to pay compensation. you're willing to spend 20, 30, 40 million pound on total, chances abroad without really any kind of due diligence, as we know. Look at bloody Fulkrug this summer. Do you know what I mean? Spent what, 27 million pound on a 31-year-old injury-prone striker that's never played in the Premier League. Happy to do that, but won't pay 5 million pound compensation for a manager that could transform the team. It's crazy, absolute crazy. I don't get it, and also the stupid must have Premier League experience. I mean, that's already been debunked. You can see that. You just look this season. You know what I mean? Arne Slot's just gone to Liverpool with no Premier League experience, and he doesn't seem to be struggling. Oh, and by the way, that's the manager we could have had at one point. Flipping idiot. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't want to keep going on rants about it, but bloody Nora, I tell you, it's hard, isn't it, not to be so frustrated this season? And we're getting away with it, West Ham. Do you know what I mean? We are getting away with it this season, despite the fact we're sitting 14th, I think it is. Dire position in the league, let's be honest, on 12 points. But we're getting away with it because other teams around us, thank God, and even above us, just aren't picking up enough points. They keep sort of like, there's no consistency with a lot of teams at the moment. So really, if I'm West Ham, right, I'm looking at this thinking, look, this isn't working. Lopetegui is clearly not working. If we were to bring in someone in this international break ahead of the Christmas run-in and then the January transfer window, bring someone in that can lift these players, there's every chance West Ham can catch up pretty quickly and get in that top half, because the gap's so tight. It really is. There's hardly any points. In fact, I'm going to bring it up now, look up the league table. But it's so tight. And then you're thinking, well, if that's the case, why aren't we acting? It just seems like there's an absolute obsession at the moment from our ownership over results. Results seems to be the main thing. So when you look at the table, right, I mean, it's remarkable. You've got up to Fulham, who are sitting in 7th, and West Ham, it's only a 5-point gap. Do you know what I mean? It's absolute crazy. It really is. Sorry, 6 point gap between 7th and West Ham in 14th. It's only 6 points. You know what I mean? I'm not to say that that's easy for West Ham at the moment, because we don't look like we're going to get a win anywhere at the moment, the way we're playing. But what my point is, this season can be saved. Do you know what I mean? If West Ham were to be proactive here and go, look, we've got an opportunity here. You've got a 2-week break. Let's get this sorted out. Get rid of Lopetegui. Bring someone in that can get these players firing and get them up and running and give everyone a bit of a lift. You never know. Do you know what I mean? All it will take is just a few results and we can get out of this. But yeah, it's bad. I mean, let's get it right. This is a bad situation. And anyway, we've had an update from ex-WH employee. It isn't good. It isn't good reading. I'm going to be honest. I wasn't very happy reading it, but this is where we are at the moment. And I'll then give my thoughts on what I think afterwards. Okay, so he said, we put the question to the club regarding the future of Julen Lopetegui, and the answer avoided the direct question, but he did say the following. Now, this has come from David Sullivan, okay? I'm pretty sure of that. So we were a fraction unlucky in the end. He's talking about the Everton game there. We were unlucky. But again, I don't want to focus on bloody results. I don't want to keep going, oh, yeah, we were a fraction unlucky. We could have won that game, right? Because it's masking what's going on. He said, we're a fraction unlucky at the end, but accept the results are not good enough and they need to improve. Although it was noted that we have tough games coming up. So this is what X has said on it. He said, reading between the lines, and that's all we can do at this stage, is that I think the manager will be given a little bit longer to turn this situation around. It also came out that apparently Karen Brady had a meeting with Lopetegui, and that went positively. I mean, what sort of meeting? Do you even understand what the bloke's saying? He don't even talk properly. It's also been stressed that the current board are loyal to their managers. If we hear anything changes, then we'll let you know. So, it's not a good update. It's not what I want to be reading. Look, I'm not someone, as people know this channel pretty well, and hopefully you do by now, I don't like to call for managers to be sacked every 5 minutes. I'm not that kind of... I just don't like it. I'd rather see people do well. Do you know what I mean? I want to see Lopetegui do well at West Ham. That's what I've always wanted to see. But I can't cope with this any longer. Do you know what I mean? He's been here long enough. And it's week in, week out. And I actually put a tweet up after the Everton game. I actually thought we looked worse. We looked so bad. But the only reason we got away with that against Everton is because we were playing against a poor side. If playing against anyone better, we were in dire trouble. Do you know what I mean? Real big. I mean, we've got Arsenal up next. They're going to rip us to shreds. I'm absolutely dreading it. I want to make a quick apology as well in the last video because I didn't make a point that I wanted to make, which was on the substitutions. I did say I would, and I'm going to make it now. In the Everton game I'm referring to. And this is my point when I'm talking about David Sullivan, saying about results. The results haven't been that bad. Really, the result we could have won the game. He's just focusing on results all the time. He's not looking at the bigger picture. Now, we made some substitutions in that game, as he does. He did 3 at once. I'm going to, again, I'll just pull this up so I'm going to make sure I get this right, who was coming on and how it'll work. But there was 3 players. I'm pretty sure it was Antonio Rodriguez coming off, and I think it was Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But I just want to just double check that. But let me just see. Let me just double check that, because the reaction from those players was just completely, which basically confirmed the situation was going on at West Ham. They don't respect this manager at all. Yeah, so 67 minutes. Yeah, sorry, it was Antonio, Wan-Bissaka and Rodriguez. I was right, that came off. So Mikel Antonio walked off the pitch and looked in a real pissed off mood. Now, look, it wasn't like he kicked his toys out the pram and went mad, but you could just see he weren't happy. Now, I'm not going to focus too much on that one because I get it. He probably knackered and annoyed that we're not winning the game. So I get all that. But I'll tell you what, Aaron Wan-Bissaka came off and you could see him muttering under his breath. He was angry, really angry. I don't think he was having the best of games. But I mean, again, I feel like he must be thinking, well, what? You know, what's going on at this club? Must be, you know, you can just see they're not happy. And then Rodriguez was the big one. Rodriguez walked off the pitch. Bearing in mind, you know, like Wan-Bissaka, this is a summer signing brought in by Lopetegui and the team. Do you know what I mean? To work under him. And he's booting bottles. You know what I mean? He's walking off the pitch, kicking bottles. Again, you could say, well, he's probably angry at the result. But I don't care even if he's angry at the result. It don't look good. You know what I mean? That shows a total lack of respect to your manager. We're seeing it time and time again. We're seeing it with these sending off. We're seeing it constantly. These players aren't happy. These players are not happy at West Ham, I'm telling you. And we're in big trouble here. This club needs to stop, pull their head out their asses here and realise the situation, because Lopetegui is just not right for this football club at all. It's so evident, you know. We've this guy's had a full pre-season, plus all this time he banged on about prepping. I've been watching West Ham, watching full time. I mean, what has he been watching then? Because he don't seem to have a clue. He ain't got a clue, and nothing's improving. That Everton game, and I can't believe I'm still this angry over it. You know, you think by now you calm down, we're like, you know, relax. I'm still seething over it because that was so poor. Some of that football was really bad. It wasn't impressive at all. And again, it's just like, I'm not going to go into details again. I talked about like the throw-ins and a couple of bits I've sort of witnessed, but I mean, I'm just talking as a general. It's just not good enough. There's no identity to this team. There appears to be no game plan. I'm really struggling every time I watch West Ham play, thinking, what have we been working on? What on earth have we been working on that training ground? Because we look no clearer, no step closer to anything. It's really poor, and it needs to be resolved. And there's only one way to resolve it at this stage. Well, there is one other ways to resolve this situation at this football club. I'm not going to go into that now, but I'm talking about what we can do as if you know, if you're David Sullivan, etc. Now, the ownership needs to do something about this situation, and that is by replacing Lopetegui. I will do a bit more video on the manager. I've done one recently. I don't want to go on about it too much. Who I think should be coming in. As I said, I think Terzic, for me, would be a sort of, not that it's the most exciting. I understand like the style of football. I understand people get a little bit fed up with that, but I just feel like because the way we are at the moment, maybe someone coming in a little bit pragmatic, younger as well, and sort of invigorate things might be the answer here. But whatever it may be, it ain't Lopetegui. You know what I mean? It is not. He has been absolutely found out as far as I'm concerned. He ain't good enough. He's well out of his depth, and he's struggling big time because this team ain't getting any better at all. And yeah, as I say, this Mick Brown, his comments from Mick Brown, I think are quite stark. The fact that he feels that West Ham could sack him immediately. I mean, I hope they do. So as far as we understand it, there is going to be a meeting being held. That's what the reports are suggesting. There's going to be a meeting held at West Ham. It's going to be between Sullivan, I believe, I think, and even Steidton could be involved to discuss the situation. But it wouldn't surprise me. We know Steidton wants him out because Steidton's using him as a scapegoat for what's gone on in terms of the signings. So he's surely going to be looking to point the finger, as we know. Well, he is. He's pointing the finger at Lopetegui. So if he's going to have any say in it, you imagine that he will be suggesting to the club, look, he needs to go. Because it's going to make him look better, isn't it? Look, that's the reason we're fat. Now we're doing my signings, do with him. It's bad. West Ham's a toxic environment at the moment. And you look at the club, and when you talk about bringing other people in, you do wonder whether West Ham's an environment that anyone can thrive in. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't seem good, does it? It really is a real struggle. Yeah, it's bad, really bad. So we're hoping hopefully have a bit more of an update on the situation. We've got ex-WHU employee this evening. He's going to be doing his update on Patreon. We're going to do a video based on that. Following that will be tomorrow, and talk about that in a bit more detail. There will be more of an update on the Lopetegui situation. And I want to change. You know, I really do. I'm not hiding my feelings on it. I think he's not good enough for West Ham, and I really do want to see West Ham take action. I don't think they will. If I'm being honest, if I'm being true to myself, I don't see it happening. I think West Ham will kick the can down the road and keep giving him more games. But I'll tell you what, he's on thin ice. I mean, that's at least for something. At least the club are not sticking head so far after us that they're not even acknowledging that. They're acknowledging the fact that things are just not good enough at all. He needs to sort this out. But how long has he got left? I think it's anyone's guess at the moment.